Well, it's Tuesday, the 28th of November 2023. A very good evening to you and welcome to Science TV Prime News, the time that we need to update you with what's making headlines in the world of news. My name is MWOLOLO and our sign language interpreter is Ann Wairimo. We begin the broadcast with some good news for persons with disabilities, and the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, NCPWD, has officially launched the newly on-board disability registration service on e-Citizen. This newly platform, in line with the directive by His Excellency President William Ruto on digitization of government services, marks a new milestone and dispensation in Kenya's disability movement. Going forward, persons with disabilities will be registering themselves on e-Citizen with the required documentation, that is disability medical assessment report, ID or birth certificate and passport size photo, and receiving confirmation SMS and their disability registration certificates from the comfort of their mobile devices, which can be freely downloaded and printed when one needs to access a service. Parents and caregivers of minors with disabilities will also register them on the platform. Persons with disabilities with previous waiting cards will be able to apply for the certificates and retain their disability numbers.
Not only this, for the National Council that we are doing today, but by December, that is next month, they will also be getting their cash transfer in the comfort of their phones. We want to try this. We are at high gear with Safaricom that all disabled beneficiaries of the Inua Jamii wanazipata katika simu zao.
News, right? As work has been made easier now for people with disabilities to access all those services. Now, moving on, a 3-judge bench of the High Court has declared the housing levy a key component of the Finance Act 2023 unconstitutional. The levy, set at 1.5% of the gross monthly salary matched by 1.5% by the employer, was intended to fund the construction of affordable housing. According to the judges, Justices David Majanja, Christine Meoli and Lawrence Mugambi, the amendment lacked a legal mechanism to anchor the housing levy, rendering it opaque without a supporting legal framework. Justice Majanja highlighted that the housing levy discriminates against payroll workers, emphasizing the absence of a rational explanation from the state on why it applies exclusively to those employed rather than a broader citizen base.
The housing levy amendment to Section 84 lacks a comprehensive legal framework in violation of Article 10, 201, 2010 of the Constitution. That levy against persons in formal employment to the exclusion of other non-formal income earners without justification is discriminatory and irrational and arbitrary and in violation of Section Articles 27, 201, B1 of the Constitution. And flowing from those findings, we find as follows that, and these are our declarations, Section 76 to 78 of the Finance Act, amending Section 7 of the Roads Board Act, 87, amending Section 28 of the Unclaimed Assets Act, Section 88 and 89, repealing Section 29 of the Statutory Instruments Act, are unconstitutional, null and void. That Section 84 of the Finance Act violates Article 10, 2BC, 27 and 201 of the Constitution and is therefore null and void. That an order is granted prohibiting the respondents from collecting, charging or otherwise the charge known as the Affordable Housing Act on the basis of the Section 84, and all prayers on the consolidated petition not specifically granted are dismissed, and this being a matter of public interest litigation, each party shall bear its own costs.
Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that's EPRA, Director General Daniel Kiptoo has been found innocent of the contempt case lodged against him. EPRA had been accused of disobeying court orders over the hiking of fuel prices in July. In its judgment on Tuesday, High Court Judge Christine Meoli said there was no evidence of Kiptoo's will for failure to obey the suspension of the 16% VAT rate. The case arose from a court order issued on June 30th, 2023 by Justice Mogure Dhande at the interim stage of the contest against the Finance Act 2023. Despite the orders barring the implementation of the bill and in turn the 16% tax VAT on fuel products, Kiptoo published a press release on the changes in fuel prices. Following this, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata filed an application accusing EPRA of failure to comply with the court orders.
The release was to notify the public on the changes to fuel prices effective 1st July 2023 in compliance with the revised VAT rates from 8% to 16% on petroleum products, the finance bill having been assented to by the President on 26 June. Mr. Issa pointed out that neither the alleged contempt nor EPRA, that is the one with the long name, were a party to the proceedings at the time the court issued the orders on 30th June, as were yet to be joined to these proceedings, and that on 30th June the alleged contemner was simply discharging his duties as the Director General of EPRA by issuing a press release in a timely fashion, as has always been the norm. Thus, the alleged contemner stated that he was being prosecuted for his effectiveness. Senator Omtata arguing that after the court issued the order, he had proceeded to serve it on the alleged contemner on the same day via his WhatsApp number and email address along the petition. That despite being served, the alleged contemner declined or neglected to recall the press release. As explained earlier, the two ingredients necessary for a finding of contempt are knowledge of the court order, which the alleged contemner denied, and willful disobedience. On the former, the alleged contemner argues that neither he nor EPRA were a party to these proceedings. Evidently, the said argument is true, but nevertheless, reviewing the document exhibited as in Matters 0005, it is clear that there was a WhatsApp conversation between Senator Omtata and the alleged contemner, of which the latter does not dispute. What is contended by the alleged contemner is that at the time the court issued the order, he had already issued the press release in discharge of his duties as Director General of EPRA.
Azimio la Umoja coalition leader Raila Odinga has criticized the proposal by the government of Kenya to sell government parastatals in a move meant to generate revenue. Odinga has warned that the sale of parastatals would be detrimental to the Kenyan economy and that it would benefit a selected few at the expense of the majority of Kenyans. He singled out on the government to abandon its plan to sell parastatals and to instead focus on improving the management of these companies. Some other news. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has blamed poor infrastructural planning for the ravaging El Nino crisis. Gachagua said the rain is wreaking havoc in various parts of Kenya because people did not consider proper planning. He, however, said the national government has taken affirmative measures to mitigate the effects of El Nino. He said the Kenya Kwanza government has disbursed 7 billion shillings as part of the intervention to assist the flood affecting victims across the country. He said the government is also working on restoring cut-off roads and dealing with destroyed water dams to bring things to normalcy.
First and foremost, we want to appeal to the people of Kenya to be also responsible. Out of the 87 deaths that have occurred due to El Nino, 37 of them is by drowning, not floods getting you to your house, by you going to where the floods are, and daring nature. Kenyans are crossing rivers when they can see the waters are menacing and they are rough. And they still insist that they are in a hurry to go somewhere, and they never reach there. I want to appeal to the people of Kenya, wherever they are, also to be responsible. As much as they're asking the government to intervene, how do we intervene when you get into a river and you can see the way it is flowing? We want to appeal to the people of Kenya to take care of their lives and to know that they have families and there are other people. If they don't care about themselves, there are people who care about them. Let us exercise responsibility. Let us not be adventurous. Let us not try to cross a river that you can see that it is dangerous. Number two, we have instructed our county security and intelligence teams all the way to the sublocation to put measures into place to assist Kenyans not to be irresponsible. Let our officers not allow people to drown themselves. Let them also help them by stopping them. Again, we have put aside 7 billion Kenya shillings from the Civil Contingency Fund to intervene in terms of supply of food, interventions in health, provision of mosquito nets, and other drugs to deal with contaminated waters. We are also supporting the Kenya Defense Forces with resources to continue providing air support by getting food and taking to areas that are not accessible.
At this point, we are taking a short break right here on Science TV Prime News. When we return from this break, we'll be giving you more updates, including what's happening in the world of sports. Stay with us.